All right. Hello and welcome to this session on supporting your virtual student tips for parents. I just want to start by saying you guys are the lucky ones. I did a similar session earlier to try and promote the program and just realized that I never actually turned on the camera or the screen share function because apparently in this type of team session I need to do something extra. And so they didn't see anything. So luckily you guys get to see something. It looks like both me and also the presentation. So we're going to go ahead and get started because I don't want to waste anyone's time. Hope everyone has had a fantastic open house so far and learned a lot about how teacher courses are handled. But what I want to do is I want to go a little bit further in that. And, um, I am fortunate in that in this field of study in virtual education, I have been a teacher for a long time. I'm now an administrator for two virtual programs for the district and also have a child who is part of the program. And so I kind of have this full idea and understanding about what it is to have a student and to run a virtual program. And so I'm going to show you guys some of the ways that I support this program in my own family. And so I think that this is hopefully going to be really helpful for everyone. So this is also going to be recorded and put on our YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't gone and checked us out on YouTube, go and do that. With that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the presentation. So a few things that we want to do. Oh, by the way, we also have a Q&A. I've got that up. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask while I'm going through this, please feel free to do that. We'll save some time at the end for it for sure. Um, so getting set up, there's a few things that we want every parent to do. If you listen to the orientation for this program with your student, you've already heard me talk about the importance of the two-way communication between us as teachers and administrators and families. And some of those ways that we do communication in a virtual space is by using different types of apps and communication tools at our disposal. The first and probably the most important being to set up the PowerSchool Portal app on your phone. So if you've got a modern smartphone, and I do mean like, mine's 5 years old and I can do it, you really need to download this app. If you go into the Google Store or the Apple App Store and just type in PowerSchool app or PowerSchool Parent, it will be the first thing you pull up and you download it. And when you go through the motions of setting up this app, there's one thing that's going to ask you, and that is for a district code. And you would put in that right there. That's our district code, GSNM. um, and that's unique to us, all right? So it doesn't matter if your student attends Aiken Innovate or whatever it might be. This is what the code is to access that portal app. You also need to know your parent access information. You can reach out to the school student information clerk for that, wherever your home school is. So every school has that. If you call the office, they can get you that information. And then the next thing that you would want to do is or as a general tip in this case would be to set up a Schoology parent account. So I've been asked recently, what's the difference? Why would I want to have the PowerSchool app and not the Schoology app? Aren't they both the same thing? Uh, Not really. So as you will see in a minute, I'm going to showcase the parent side of Schoology on the PC, but what the app will do is it'll let you see most of what I'm going to show you, at least in the form of a snapshot on your phone, including grade reports, including teacher updates, including previews of student assignments. Those are things you can't really get when you're looking in PowerSchool, but PowerSchool will send you notifications every time grades are updated. It just so happens that as a program, we update grades once a week. Most of our teachers are doing that, sometime near the end of the week or the first of the next week. And so those are both really good ways to get an idea or a feel for what your student is doing in order to have those conversations centered on what their progress looks like. Okay, so the next thing is the ACPSD app. You've heard us talking about this. Our teachers are communicative through email and also through the ACPSD app, which is where you've got that two-way texting thing that y'all have heard Mary Lynn talking about. This is a pretty cool thing for our program because it enables both students and parents they can set it up on their smartphone and have that conversation capacity with their teachers directly. And so the app is better this year than it was last year, and I think that it's continuing to improve. But we definitely encourage all parents and students to download this if they've got a smartphone, because you also receive program updates. So whenever I send out information, or whenever our program puts social media posts out there, or we talk about things like open house, we put those updates in the app, and it connects and it will send notifications to your phone if you've downloaded the app. So anything we can do to enhance communication, make sure everyone's on the same page, we want to do that. That's really important, since we don't actually see you or your student during the day. We only see via digital communications like Teams or, whatever it might be. So the next thing that I want to just kind of make sure that every parent understands is how to monitor grades. And we're going to look at this in a few ways, but for starters, we want to share some information and make sure that everyone's aware of what our grading categories look like. So in Schoology, we kind of use that as a one-stop shop for everything that our students have to do for grading purposes and due dates. So when you go into Schoology, you will see practice, application, and assessment actually written in the title of student graded assignments. And that's on purpose, because we want everyone to be able to eyeball a list of student grades and know that these assignments are practice, these assignments are application, and these are assessment. And if you look at the percentage breakdown, all collective practice assignments can only be up to 10% of the grade, right? All application assignments can only be up to 40%, and all assessments up to 50%. So if you do a little bit of fast math, it's not hard to see that 90% of the grade comes from these two categories. So just to kind of talk about why that is, practice is always seen as a low stakes learning opportunity. Students can do it as many times as they need to in order to learn content and reinforce that knowledge so that they can then perform where it matters. Think about your driving test. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago when I took my driving test, and the way that worked is I rode with my mom, and all the time, and I drove as much as I needed to, as much as I felt like I needed to master the skill of driving. Then I went and I took one driving test with the dude at the DMV, and that is what my success at getting my license was centered on, is performing on that test. In the same way, you're not going to see 20 or 15 or 20 test and application assignments per quarter on student report cards and in the Parent Portal. You may see 5, 6, 7, I mean, a lot less than you would on practice, but just know that when you look at that, these application and assessment weigh more, because the expectation is the student has done the practice, the student has learned the material, and now the student needs to show that mastery, and they can only really do this by studying for it and learn the content. So this is part of what I want everyone to know, is what that looks like. Okay, so there will be more practice assignments than there are application and assessment, but the application and assessment weigh the majority of the grade. So what do parents need to do? What are we looking for parents to do when we're having students participate? Well, we ask that parents review upcoming assignments for the week with students, and also maybe have a conversation at the end of the week about how the week went. And we want parents to keep up with the emails and different types of communication, the PowerSchool grade updates and all that, so that there are no surprises at interim, or even worse, at the end of the report card period. So this is something that I do with my own child. We have conversations at the beginning of every week, and also throughout the week and at the end. But on the weekend, I'm always going to sit down as a parent, and I'm going to actually log in to Schoology and see what it looks like on the grading side. Did my students submit all work? Did were all the grades good? Did the student make a failing grade on an assignment that allows for a retest? So a lot of our assignments allow students to do the work twice. So we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of all of that. so that students can get their best grade and do their best and succeed in the course and the program. So if you are not sure right now, parents, if you don't know what your student is making, you have no idea what their progress is, you haven't gotten your eyes on it and checked, you really need to do that today, like immediately. We've already had interims. The district interim day was Wednesday, so all grades were updated by then. Teachers are asked to have grades updated on a weekly basis, and so they're always putting in those assignments and making sure that they are as current as they can, at least weekly. So you can look right now and get a pretty strong idea of where your student is, and you should know that. All parents should know that at this point and on a regular basis how the students are doing in class. So if you don't know, get with your student and let's figure that out. I'm going to show you some ways to do that today. So I want to actually talk about this. There are some things in here that I've just mentioned with setting up a Schoology account, a parent Schoology account. I want to show you um, what that looks like. And we'll come back to the website here in a second. I want to show you that too. But if I go into let's say I am Ronald Weasley. Okay, so oh boy, Ron is taking 2 classes. He's taken if I click on the course dashboard, I can see that Ron is in Miss Daynaught's class and Mr. Ayers' class. He's an 8th grader. Okay, and so parents, this view here is powerful, and you can see it too. If nothing else, have your student log in, because over here on the right, this is one of those reasons why we have everything kind of funnel through Schoology, because you can see right here on the front page a to-do list that shows all assignments that are overdue in our program, as well as all assignments that are upcoming. And so the way the assignment shows up as overdue is if it was turned in or not completed after the due date. So in They Can Innovate, we don't allow students to turn in assignments all at once at the very end of the quarter. It's extremely important for their learning that students work throughout the quarter in order to learn the content so they can demonstrate that mastery. Students can't be successful cramming everything in the last 2 days of class. So we do expect that students are keeping up with the pacing and getting the work done. And so you can see what that looks like just by logging in here. And then if the student, and right now I am logged in as a student account, so this is exactly what your student looks like. If they click on the course name, then it will show the upcoming assignments and overdue assignments for just that one course over here on the right hand side. And I can click on it from here, and I'm able to go in and access the work. Now this course goes through VSC, so the teacher would show the student how to go in and log into the virtual SC system to complete the work, and then they would type in the corresponding grade over here in Schoology so that it would sync with PowerSchool. Now from the and also I can, as a student, I can click on grades up here, look at the grade report, and toggle between my classes to see how I'm doing. And remember earlier, I've just mentioned those categories. So I can look under application, which is 40%, and see how my student is doing on the big application assignments. The assessment are going to be the unit tests, and these are the biggest category that weigh the most. And then I can see those practice assignments and kind of get an idea of where my student is in terms of their learning. So this is important because your student can log in right now and show you this stuff. So if you have any questions about what it looks like, even without setting up a parent account, just go have your student log in to their Schoology and look at it for yourself to get that idea of what those assignments look like. Now, you're not going to see a quarterly, like a 9 weeks grade here. You have to look in PowerSchool for that. But you can certainly see what the assignment grades look like, and then even one-click access these assignments if you have any questions about what it is they're expected to do. And it will tell you, this one here is in VSE, for example. Now, the other side of this is that if you do set up that parent access account, there's a lot of really cool things in here you can do in order to monitor your student as well. And so I am now being Mr. Dumbledore, who is serving as the parent of Ron Weasley. So when I log in as a parent, it's going to take me to this landing screen. So I can see that I'm not in any courses, and you might be confused. What does this mean? What am I supposed to do with this? Well, if I come over here and I click on my name and I click on my student, my child, all right, in this case, Mr. Ron, now I'm able to see that same view that Ron sees. And I can, just like he can, I can click on these assignments and see what it is that the student is supposed to do. If they turned it in, it would show up under submission. So I'm able to get an idea of what the expectation is for my student. I can also do the same thing, click on that grade report and look at how the student is doing on these assignments. Now, I can't turn it in and do it for them, but you're not supposed to do that, right? If I had the phone app, I would be able to see this same thing with the grade report. That's the reason why it's so important to be able to have that if that's an option. Now, the other thing I want to show you is you can have your student log in and show you their grades, but from a parent account, if I'm clicked on my student's name, if I scroll down to settings, I can click on notifications, and I can actually make this thing allow me to receive weekly or daily digests about what the students got coming up, and I can turn on this email notification for overdue, as well as this email digest. And what this is going to do is I will get either daily or weekly a notification. If it's weekly, you can choose which day of the week. A notification that shows here's what my student has coming up. Here's what my student has overdue, and it will literally send you an email as part of the Schoology digest that will keep you on tab with what your student is doing and what they have done. I do this again as a parent. I receive these emails. It's pretty cool because if you are too busy to go through and take a look at it, you're able to go in and see it this way just by checking your email, which is something that most of us are doing, right? So this is a really cool tool that not a whole lot of people look for and know is here. So I'm going to return back to my presentation, and so I just showed the Schoology digest. I just looked at the upcoming assignments and showed you guys how to do that. I do want to take a second to show how to schedule tests. So this can be done from any course. If I'm Ron, okay, so I'm going to log in as Ron, and I go into my English course. It should be in every course, and I click on course overview and information. You can see the laptop support ticket is here as well, but the one that says I don't see it in here, so we'll check and make sure that it's in here. But there should be a link. Let me see if it's in the other course. There should be a link that shows where the you go in there and access it, and it pulls up. So I need to check with my teachers and make sure they have it in there. There is so we make sure that it's in every course or even information for it. So we'll get that in there for you guys. But it's a link that helps the students to schedule tests, which we do expect them to do on their own in this program, so that they can take that test on their own time within a time limit, right? So we don't want, if a student is supposed to take a test by Friday, then it's 2 weeks before they do that, then their grade's going to suffer as a result. So we definitely want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. But it would be under that course overview and information, and we'll make sure that every teacher has that in their course. Okay, so moving on. Oh, hang on, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, we already talked about the end of the week. We want to have a conversation with students where we talk about planning out the following week. So you can actually see at the beginning of the week, those upcoming assignments will be updated. You can help your student figure out parts of the day where they're able to log in and do the work. And we will have I've got a calendar blocking video that we made on the YouTube channel, which I'm going to put in this PowerPoint and share out with everyone to make sure that everybody has access to that. But it actually will show how to use the team's calendar to block out time where students can dedicate to work on their coursework. If you see your student up moving around a lot during school hours and they're not really engaged in doing work outside of live sessions, just keep in mind that they are expected to work. And that's probably indicative that the student's not getting their work done, because it will take, I mean, it's school, so there is work to do. It does take students a little while to get the work done. Um, okay, and then just as an ongoing thing, I think the biggest thing here is, all the time we're getting calls about parents and students forgetting login information, which is, it's really preventable. Just take the time to write down your students' Microsoft information, their students' network login. Parents, once you reset your PowerSchool Parent Portal, take a second to write that down in a notebook and keep it next to your student's workstation. Nothing is more derailing than lacking the ability to log in and get your stuff done. So take measures to make sure that we have that stuff written out. Parents, make sure that your information in PowerSchool is accurate and up to date. If you have an incorrect email in PowerSchool, that's what we're using to reach out to you. So if you haven't heard from us, you probably have incorrect information. You need to call the school office to get that updated. And when I say school office, I mean like a school information clerk at your child's home school. We don't have a school information clerk here. And then you also want to make sure that students have a setup where they're not on the phone all day during class or watching TV or playing video games. Like, I mean, I've got kids and we all have kids, and what they're doing, if they're not monitored and they have full access to screens all over places, they're not doing schoolwork. They're playing. So help us make sure that students are getting work done during their working hours. We want to definitely take measures on that. Okay. So that means a well-lit, distraction-free workstation. Sometimes students need help with troubleshooting technology. We actually have a troubleshooting guide on our website, which I'll show you here in a sec. I've already mentioned to keep the login information nearby. If a student has better access to a personal device, let them use it. If the technology is an issue and our devices are running slow, the only time I'm going to say that a student can't use a personal laptop to do work is during a testing session. We have to have tests proctored. I don't know of a teacher that is using district programs like Securely during their live session that would affect students' ability to use a personal device. If that's the case, they can let you know that. But for the most part, I'm thinking if I've got a personal device that works well, I'm going to let my child use that, unless, again, it's a test. We have to have those tests proctored with the district device. If there is an issue with the district device, please don't sit on it. We are not going to be able to excuse work for tech issues. Fill out that ticket so our tech person can help with that. I get asked a lot if students are able to take the device to their home school. The answer is no. We do have a system for our devices. Our devices are on a different image. They're set up completely different. We don't coordinate that information with school level techs because they're not working where they can innovate. So just know that we do need our tech person to be able to help monitor those devices. If I go to the website and I click on technology support, there is a eventually I get it. There is a Can Innovate technology support page that walks you through a process for handling tech issues. And I've actually got this downloadable that we gave out during laptop distribution to new students, but you're welcome to come here and download this. It just kind of walks you through the steps of helping your child with getting tech support, even when there's not a technology specialist available. So that's definitely something I would encourage everybody to do. And then if you are having those tech issues, go into the teacher's course and complete that test. I'm sorry, the technology ticket. Any teacher can show you how to do that or can help with that. It's going to be in that course overview and information folder I showed earlier. But if you can't find it, just reach out to your teacher, your child's teacher, and get them to send that your way. And you can complete that, and our tech person will call back. Now, in terms of suggested equipment, there's a few things that I would suggest if you're having audio issues or if the trackpad on the device is difficult for students, you can usually pick up a pretty decent headset or even a wireless mouse that can help to increase the efficiency of students' use of technology during their participation with us. And these things have, in some cases, helped. Whereas if the microphone's not working on the device, sometimes plugging in a device can help with that. And then finally, in education, there's a lot of fear and angst about the use of AI tools. And I will say that we expect that all students are doing their own work. So do not let your student turn in graduate level work written by an AI chatbot. We're going to flag that as a academic integrity violation, but I do want everybody to understand that these AI tools are fantastic tools for helping students learn what they need to know in their studies. And so these here are just a few ways that students are able to, or that parents are able to help students learn. And take the time to show them this. Don't just say, go on ChatGPT, because they're going to go up there and put the questions in and get it to generate responses. And then, of course, they're going to fail tests, right? But we want to make sure that we teach them how to use the tools to enable them to learn the content. And some of the ways is, if you're like me and you're not a very good mathematician, you can get ChatGPT to show you how to work out a problem. So if a student takes a test and they made a 30 or a 40 on that test, they can usually take it again. You can go into the test and review it and see the questions the student got wrong, and then put it into the chatbot, ask it to show you the steps for working out the problem, and then you sit down with your child and help them learn the steps. Then ask it to give you another question, just like it, and it'll give you another problem, and then you work out those steps. And after you do that 3, 4, 5 times, and you really get the reps on the math, then you have it generate some problems without the steps involved, and then the student will be able to show you how to do the work. So sometimes it does take a while, right? So being a parent and doing this with your student when you know they're struggling is work, but is part of being a parent. So we definitely want to make sure that everyone has these tools. In 2025, it's never been easier to access this stuff. You can also find math problems on YouTube. If your student is doing percentages or your decimal conversions or long division or whatever else it is, they might be doing algebra 1 stuff, you can usually look up what it is they're doing on YouTube and find a quick tutorial that can also help you as the parent to learn the steps and then show your student how to do it. AI tools can give you feedback on writing. It can make suggestions for what a project outline might need to look like, or brainstorming ideas that the student can then go and research. It's also great for making study guides based on lesson notes. So if your student is taking notes, or if they have access to notes in the course, they can take that and get the chatbot to make a study guide that they can then use for the parent can call out questions to them, and they can answer the questions in order to learn the content, which is good old fashioned, how we used to do it back when I was a kid. My mom would call out these questions to me, and I would give them the answers until I learned the material. And then obviously it can help with learning vocab and give suggestions for improvement on how to do better work. So it's really cool. Some of the tools that we have today can be used for cheating, but these are all extremely good tools for you as learning coach of your student to help them to really learn the content if they are struggling in the course. So with that said, I just want to wrap up and thank everyone for being here. That is it for my presentation. I'm showing you under tutorials and resources some of the stuff that I demonstrated in this video or talked about. I have videos here that can help you to do them. So you have access to this whole tutorial on our YouTube page, and you will be able to see what I did by signing up for the Schoology Digest, or you looking at the upcoming assignments for monitoring student grades. But I did not show you how to set up a parent account. So you can watch this video and learn how to do that. You can learn how to download the ACPSD app, which is going to help you with that two-way communication. And then this video here shows how to download the PowerSchool app, except it is tailored for another district. So please make sure that you use that GS in M code and not the code that he shows in the video. And then obviously, like I said, this one will be on YouTube. If there's anything else we can do, your teachers can help. We can help. Let us know. You can email us at ai@acpsd.net, and we will do whatever we can to help your student be successful in the program. So with that said, that's the end of this event. I appreciate you guys coming in, and I will see you guys on the internet. Thank you.